Hello and welcome to ATC Keep Educating Yourself series. We welcome all the aspirants with passion and zeal to achieve success in your respective goals. This lecture is about secondary surveillance radar. After the completion of this lecture, you will be able to understand secondary radar system, principle of secondary radar, its block diagram, modes and codes of secondary surveillance radar, advantages and disadvantages of secondary radar. Secondary radar system are ATC system used to obtain identity and altitude of cooperative airlines. Interrogator, which is a ground-based equipment, transmits on 1030 MHz and it is received by airborne transponder installed in the aircraft, which receives at same frequency 1030 but transmits at 1090 MHz in the reply of the pulses received from the ground based interrogator. We will explain this in further slides. In this system, SSR, which is ground based, interrogates the aircraft which are equipped with transponder and reply to SSR interrogator. Secondary surveillance radar used worldwide by civil aviation operates on only two frequencies, having on interrogating equipment on the ground and transponder in the aircraft. Additionally, a mode or code system is employed, and this adds an encoder in the aircraft and decoder on the ground at the control positions. After the data is received, surveillance data is processed and same is displayed on air traffic controller display system. Principle of secondary radar system. The interrogator is a transmitter receiver on ground which transmit suitably coded groups of pulses on frequency 1030 MHz using a directional rotating aerial which is common to both transmit and receive channel. The interrogation transmitter in effect requests all airborne transponder on code being used to reply. The transponder is a receiver transmitter which actually automatically receives a coded interrogation on 1030 MHz and replies by transmitting a coded group of replies on 1090 MHz. It will reply only to those interrogation received on the mode to which it is set to respond. This reply is again received by the ground receiver, processed by the decoder, and displayed to the controller as a symbol distinct from the blip on the radar display. The ground to air coding process is known as mode, and the air to ground process is known as code. Modes of interrogation. The International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) has proposed a standard spacing and association for civil modes. The SSR interrogation format, which is also known as uplink format, in Mark 10 standard is very simple. It is consisting of two pulses P1 and P3 of 0.8 microsecond width. This determines the mode of interrogation. The table shows the time spacing of the different military and civil modes and indicates their use. Modes 1, 2 and 3 are used for military. Civilian modes are A, B, C, and D. Mode 1 is used for military identification. The distance between P1 and P3 pulses is of 3 microseconds. Mode 2, military identification. P1 P3 distance is 5 microseconds. It provides 4096 ID codes for military. Mode 3 is civil military identification. Mode B is not used. Mode D is also not used. But the distance between P and P3 are different for all modes. Mode C is used for civil purpose, for pressure altitude extraction, and distance between P1 and P3 is 21 microseconds. Military mode 3 and civil mode A are the same interrogation mode, hence often referred to as 3A. It requests an identity used for air traffic control purposes. This identity is only 12 bits, so there are only 4096 possible values. Values of Mode 3A code to use in various regions are allocated by air traffic control authorities. These are known as squawk codes. The identity code value is set as 4 octal digits as directed by air traffic control instructions. The value may sometimes be changed during flight. The other essential information required by air traffic control is obtained from the Mode C interrogation, requesting the aircraft flight level. This is derived from the aircraft pressure altimeter or the radar altimeter. Reply processes known as codes. So today we have transponders with 4 knobs which represents A, B, C and D. Each can be set to anything from 0 to 7, as we have already informed you that it's an octal code. So the switches don't have a position 8 or 9. To squawk 0, 6, 1, 2, A knob is set to 0, B knob is set to 6, C is set to 1 and D is set to 2. If the transponder receives a mode A interrogation, it transmits the squawk code as set by the pilot. So in this case, pilot has set squawk code 2462. If he will get mode A interrogation, he will transmit 2462 to ATC system. If it receives a mode C interrogation, it transmits the altitude code as supplied by the encoder. It is important to understand that at no time does the transponder send both. It is one or the other. If the ground station sends a mode A interrogation, the transponder replies with a string of pulses that are squawk code only. If mode C interrogation, the reply is altitude only. The aircraft transponder recognizes the interrogation mode by the time spacing between the two interrogation pulses P1 and P3. The train of pulses is set up as follows. Two framing pulses F1, F2, 20.3 microseconds or 3.35 nautical miles away. Always the framing pulse in the train. Every transponder reply contains the frame pulses. The information pulse position. They lie between the two frame pulses F1 and F2, and either 6 or 12 positions may be used. There are two ways of using each position, either by sending a pulse or by not sending a pulse. If 6 positions are in use, the number of code availables are 2 raised to the power 6, 64. For 12 positions in the number of codes available is 2 raised to the power 12, that is 4096. The increased spacing between the 6th and 7th information pulse allow for further addition of an extra pulse, which would increase the number of possible different codes to 2 raised to the power 13, that is 8192. So this X is the extra pulse. The identity pulse. This is available 4.35 microsecond, 4.35 microseconds after the second frame pulse of F2. The identity pulse is transmitted only when the switch is actuated on the request of the air traffic controller. The identity pulse is then transmitted automatically for a period of about 20 seconds. This is known as SPI, Spatial Ident Feature. Transmission of altitude on mode Charlie. The transmission of altitude information in secondary radar is a matter of particular importance. It is the answer to an interrogation in mode Charlie. The secondary radar system is used not merely as an identification system, but also for transmitting flight instrument data from aircraft to the ground. The altimeter is provided in addition to the normal indicator scale with a coded disk. Pressure altitude is obtained from an altitude encoder, a separate self-contained unit mounted in the aircraft. The altitude information is passed to the transponder using a modified form of gray code called Gilham code. The height information is represented as 11 binary digits in parallel form using 11 separate lines designated D2, D4, A1, A2, A4, B2, B4, C1, C2, C4. The Gilham code contains a D1 bit, but this is unused in practical applications. So this is Gilham code D4, D2, D1, C4, C2, C1, B4, B2, B1, A4, A2, A1. So for this value is C4 is 1. So it represents a squawk value of 0040 and altitude of minus 12,000. On receipt of any query regarding altitude, this disk is sensed and altitude information obtained is transmitted in form of response pulse train to the ground station, where it can be decoded into a numerical form as a direct indication of altitude. To exclude operational errors during the transmission of altitude, reference is solely made to the standard ICAO atmosphere with its pressure of 1013.2 hectopascal. Each altitude code has an equivalent squawk code. The list of altitude codes shown how that same data would be decode as a squawk rather than altitude. But each squawk code does not necessarily have an equivalent altitude. There are 4096 squawk codes, but only 1280 altitude codes, one for each 100-foot increment from minus 12,000 feet to 1,26,700 feet. Transmission of altitude continue. The interrogation pulse are transmitted on 1030 MHz by ground station. The space between P1 and P3 If it is 8 microsecond, this is mode A interrogation. And if it is 21 microsecond, then it is mode C interrogation. P2 is used for side lobe suppression, P2, so that the transponder will only respond to the principal forward lobe of rotating antenna, even when flying in strong signal near the interrogating site. Long range radar uses typically alternate AC-AC, that is 1 to 1, altitude, mode Charlie, altitude, identification, mode Charlie, identification, mode Charlie. ASR usually looks as AAC, AAC with two squawk requests for each altitude interrogation. The output of the transponder is on frequency of 1090 MHz. So output of transponder is on frequency 1090 MHz. The SPI pulse, this is SPI pulse, is present only when the ident button has been pressed, and it lasts for 20 seconds. There is no difference between a mode alpha and mode Charlie reply. If a mode alpha interrogation is issued, a mode alpha reply is expected and the pulse will be decoded that way. Likewise, if a mode Charlie request is made, the data received from the aircraft will be calculated as altitude. The ground equipment automatically adds the necessary barometric correction according to the local pressure. The controller sees the same reading on his scope that the pilot sees on the altimeter if both are using the same barometric settings. It is possible indeed that another ATC facility is indicating this aircraft at a different altitude, since the barometric pressure varies from one location to another. Advantages of secondary surveillance radar over primary radar. Less power for same operational range. In contrast with primary radar system, where the range R increases, the power of echo decreases by a factor of 1 by R raised to the power 4. The power of transponder reply only decreases by a factor of 1 by R square. Consequently, it is possible to work with a much lower transmitter power. Secondary radar is also independent of aircraft echoing area. The response size is independent of target size and material. No unwanted clutter. Interrogator transmits on 1030 MHz and it receives replies on 1090 MHz. Positive identification without aircraft maneuver. Spatial reply codes used to indicate aircraft level. Identification procedure and reply codes methods reduces radio telephony congestion and hence controller and pilot workload also reduced. Indicates spatial situation like emergency RCF. Disadvantages of secondary radar. Aircraft must have serviceable transponder. Ring around at times when target is close to interrogator. No weather information when required. Weak signals are not tolerated. Bearing accuracy of current SSR equipment is not as good as that of primary system. When aircraft are close to each other, their reply chains overlap and are said to be garbled. This results in equipment becomes confused and false codes may be displayed. Availability of only 4096 codes make their management more difficult in certain regions. In next video lecture, we will be discussing monopulse secondary surveillance radar mode S selective. Take care and thank you for watching. Please share your views in comment section.